Hi, my name is Lori, and this is my story of how I went first. From the time that I can remember, I was singing and being a part of the children's ministry choir. It was never about the fame, becoming famous, or the celebrity of it. I really sincerely just wanted to perform. Even throughout high school, junior high, it was something that I still wanted to do. I never fully pursued it until years later. Eventually, I moved to Florida. So I was working at a preschool, and I remember being in the room all by myself, cleaning up, singing, and all of a sudden I heard this voice, and it was this man that said, "You need to audition for a musical." I just thought it was so far-fetched because it was something that I'm 21, 22 at this time, and I knew or thought that all the people that were doing that had done it since they were little. The next year I was working at a bank, and somebody at the bank heard me singing, and they gave me a newspaper article, and it was an audition for the same theater that the man had told me about. So I went, I auditioned for Footloose, and I got in. And it was then that I knew that was all I wanted to do the rest of my life, was to perform. I went to acting school, and I got signed with an agency there in Florida, and I started doing commercials and film, and it was just more confirmation that this was what I was supposed to be doing. This was all I wanted to do the rest of my life. I moved back to Texas because I had gotten a job, my dream job, with a cruise line. And 3 days before getting on the ship as a singer and performer, my contract was terminated. I had been hoarse during the audition process, and one of the days they asked me to go on complete vocal rest. The next day I came back and my voice was still in the same place. So they were nervous, they were worried about me that I had nodules on my vocal cords. They were right. When I got back to Texas, I went to the doctor and I found out I did indeed have a nodule, and I had to have vocal cord surgery. So I had vocal cord surgery, didn't make it on the ship. I did go back and audition again, and I didn't make it. Finally, I just stopped and really thought, why are you doing this? And I realized that the only reason I was doing it was because I felt like that door was shut in my face. And so I was determined to make it work. And the Lord was letting me know, this isn't what I have for you anymore. I was going to a church at the time where I was a part of the praise team. Well, there came a time that the Lord was letting me know my time was over at that church and that He was calling me to do more. I had no idea what that meant. And my husband, Kevin, and I both felt this at the same time. So we prayed together, and we didn't know what it looked like, but we knew that we were getting ready to leave our church. God led us to Real Life Ministries, Texas. I was meeting with a friend of mine, Judy Cintron. She used to disciple me. She shared with me then that Brandon was starting a church. She would share with me that they were having a really hard time finding a worship leader for Real Life. And I told her one day, I said, well, I'd be willing to help until y'all find someone. I was willing to serve. I did not see it even at that point as a career or a job, something that I wanted to do and make money off of, or something that was even long term. We even found a worship pastor for our church eventually, and he was there, and I'll never forget, we became very good friends. He asked me a question. He said, Lori, I was doing so many different things at this time. And he said, if you could do one thing the rest of your life, what would it be? And I was like, I don't know, I want to do everything. Then he asked me, Lori, do you ever see yourself in full-time ministry? And I laughed at him. I asked him why he asked me that. And he said, because I do. A couple months later, he let me know that he felt that God was calling him back to his old church. I stepped up to just bridge the gap until we could find a worship leader or a worship pastor. And eventually, Brandon and Tommy came to me and said that the elders had talked, the elders had prayed, and they believed that I was supposed to stay in the role as a worship director for Real Life. I didn't know entirely what that looked like. I honestly didn't know what I was doing. I knew that saying yes to this role was going to change some of the things that I had planned for my life. But the surprising thing in all of this is that what God called me to do and the things that He had prepared me for, I didn't even realize until I was living in it, that the years of ministry in different ways, even in childcare or being a part of the worship team, or even as a child singing at that old church that I used to sing at, and they all were integral to where He has me today. And so I'm so grateful that I get to do what I get to do. And I'm grateful that I am able to impact His kingdom, in such a different way that I ever imagined. And it has been more fulfilling. All of the many facets of ministry that I wasn't even looking to do, I have truly, truly learned to appreciate exactly where I'm at. As long as I am walking in obedience with Him, He's going to make my path straight. And it doesn't mean that hiccups don't come. It doesn't mean that trials don't come, but it's so much better with Him. And this journey has been amazing for me. And I am so glad that He has chosen me to do exactly what I'm doing, even in the hard, even in the times that I want to give up and I want to stop, because there have been those times. He's right there, and it's been incredible. So I'm so grateful I said yes to Him and that He chose me to go first.